So good morning, Matt. Good morning, everyone. How are you?
Good morning, mate. Really good. Weather's looking pretty good down here for a change. So we're getting a bit of sunshine, which is great.
Excellent, excellent. And you finally made it to the cast of having a SportsFX shirt, which is impressive.
Well, mate, I was going to send the memo through this morning, mate. Do we go with black or blue? But anyway, maybe
Yeah,
it'll
we'll
be
just
black
mix
and
it
blue by
up.
the end of this.
Yeah, we'll just mix it up, change it up every day.
100%.
Um,
100%.
no, so we'll run through the charts, have a bit of a look at what's happened over the past week. As we were just sort of saying, it hasn't been. I wouldn't say it's been drastic. I'll start with the Aussie US, and I'll just get straight into I'll bring a chart up here. But I think before I do, it looks like, and from a few sort of things that I've read this week, is while there's been a lot of data, so the US has a lot of positive data. China had a little bit of positive, a little bit of negative last week. Aussie is a bit the same. But it seems like with the upcoming election happening in regards to the US, which I think is in about 2 weeks' time, there's just now a lot of risk and volatility and I guess concern around who's going to win because it seems to be quite a close race. And that'll have an impact on obviously the markets. I think in between times, we're just seeing that people are just, whether they're holding off or they're just putting their money in their sort of safer assets as such, being the US dollar. Whether that's the case over the past week or so. But I'll bring up the Aussie US to start. And as you say, we did peak there at that 69 cent mark a few weeks ago, and we haven't got near it again since. We've just had a big decline since then. And that's been 1st of October. We're at 69.18, and now the 22nd of October, so 3 weeks later, we're down 4%. And again, that could have been just off the back of hitting those recent highs. There was a few talks around it potentially going to 70, but it's just sold off. And as I said, the US has had some good data over the past week or two in regards to job numbers and employment, GDP. So yeah, it's just helped the US dollar claw back a bit of position.
Definitely.
And on that from that side of things now is we have a lot of clients that earn US dollars. So now again is the time to start looking at, all right, do I want to bring it back? We're back to sort of the highest it's been. If you look at it from the other way, if you're holding US, it's now the best it's been since the middle of September, and before that, early August. So you're sort of looking at 4 to 6 week highs if you're earning US dollars, bringing it back to Australia, which is obviously a good thing.
Well, it's probably ideal too, with, as we were saying before, the couple of conversations we've had over the last sort of 24, 48 hours from clients in the US looking to bring their money back. So, for them, it's ideal.
Yeah, no, definitely. We got one done last night. And that was a good scenario. He was traveling, couldn't access the platform, so a quick WhatsApp message to myself, and we got that done nice and simply. So take advantage of those moves while they happen. The other couples to look at, Aussie Euro hasn't really done much since we spoke last week. It's sort of just sitting between that 61.30, 61.80, so like a 50-point move, and it's just gone sideways. And if you look at a couple, the yen, which we've spoken about several times, that's gone really sideways and now had a really tight range for the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, ever since we broke that 100. And there was talk of their interest rates changing and new prime ministers, a lot of volatility up and down here, but nothing really happening since. Aussie, New Zealand, that's been another one, kind of similar. New Zealand cut their interest rates last week. We had a huge run up for the Aussie, and again, it's just sat in that $1.10 to $1.1080 mark. So nothing drastic. It doesn't seem like there's anything drastic in any of the pairs. The other one has been the pound. So the pound Aussie, we did see that fall back to sort of 190 a couple of weeks ago. That has started to slightly recover. There are a few reports, however, of the UK potentially looking to cut their interest rates again when they meet. I think it's on November the 7th. So that potentially that is something that just to be aware of coming into that period. Again, if you're holding pounds, again, it's another good time to start thinking about moving it. The highest we've got over the past 12 months is been roughly 196 outside a few random spikes. 196 has sort of been the highest, which is in and around here, and we're back up around 195. So all in all, a decent time if you're holding pounds to move it back as well.
No, indeed.
But that's probably just a quick overview. As I say, nothing drastic. Big week in the news. So there's nothing happening today as such. I'll just bring up the forex calendar quickly. More so, that was last week. So yeah, we had the US, China had a bit of positive news towards the end of the week. We did have a big week, as I said, but it didn't make a huge dent. Nothing moved, a couple of percent. Today, nothing really. There's a BRICS summit going on. So that'll be interesting to see if anything comes out of that in regards to those countries and those currencies. And we'll dive into BRICS on another video one day. The US and the UK, a little bit of news tomorrow. Thursday is the big one. So Canada has their interest rate decision expected to cut. So that if you're a player in Canada earning Canadian dollars, that's something to be aware of. New Zealand, bit of Euro news. The BRICS summit again's on for a couple of days this week, unemployment claims. So again, a heavy Thursday, Friday in regards to news, and outside of that, nothing too drastic. But yeah, that's been, as I said, it pretty flat-ish, just general movement for the past week, nothing crazy. But again, good to have a plan in place or just have an idea around your upcoming transfers and how to best manage it.
No, 100% agree with that. And even on a local level, there's some dialogue I've read over the last couple of days in and around our interest rates moving forward and what the RBA might do sooner rather than later. Certainly some positive overtures based on what's happening globally. So just be very interesting to see what happens, in a couple of weeks' time down here, and then what happens moving into that Christmas New Year's period for the AUD.
Yeah, and it always moves off rumours as well. If there's a rumour or just a comment from someone, nothing might actually happen, but just rumours and comments, and the market anticipates or takes it in a particular direction. So it's always just to be aware and have something in place.
Just keep an eye on it, and if you've got any questions, just get on the phone and give us a call, and we'll address it as best we can.
Yeah, easy. No, that's an easy one on the market update, and we were just going to cover quickly. So I was down in Sydney, and Matt and I went and had 5 or 6 meetings last week while we were down there, all very positive. But a couple stood out that we'd spoken about over a few beers at the local bar on Wednesday and Thursday. So we'll dive into it. But so we met 2 players, ex-professionals, one in football, one in basketball. Both played overseas previously, obviously earned an overseas income, and now run their own businesses. 2 very smart, sophisticated, intelligent guys. Didn't really understand what foreign exchange or an FX broker in a way, or how something like a SportsFX would work, which I found fascinating for one, that they've been there and done that. But again, it just shows, I guess, that we're not right, but I feel like we're on the right path in regards to the currency management and the education that we want to provide, because these guys would have been stung by their banks over a couple of years, no doubt. And back then as well, there probably wasn't as many options as there are now in regards to things like a Wise or an OFX or whatever it may be. There's a lot out there, but just interesting to hear that they didn't understand kind of what it was and how it worked and where the benefit lay.
Yeah, it was. I find it poignant too. Both of those guys, as you say, were highly intelligent men, run successful businesses now. One was a little embarrassed, if I could put it that way, about the fact that he didn't really understand the FX piece of currency management while he was playing. The other one was more along the lines of, I've always been terrible with money. I wish I had known about this previously. What I found fascinating was the following day when we had, when there was follow-up conversations instigated by both guys, just to say how fascinated they were with what we do and how we do it, and wish they had have known about us back when they were playing, but more so just understanding how they could help us get the message out around SportsFX, what we do for elite athletes, and just give them that sort of currency management security, if you like, or comfort is probably a better word, when they're looking to move their money across that international piece. And the other part of that I found fascinating too, that you would have found this as well. Everyone we speak to always sees it as a really narrow market, as a narrow opportunity, whereas where we see it from is the whole sports industry, entertainment industry as well. And when we start to talk to that with these guys, they really understood it, and we're more than happy to one support us and refer us into, their athlete friends.
Yeah, no, there was. We've had a couple of introductions already, which has been amazing. One of the other parts I found quite interesting was one of the guys had to invoice a client in Korea in US dollars, and again, didn't really understand how that process worked. And his money took 2 weeks to arrive and got held up, time and time again with no visibility on it. So it was interesting when, as you said, we showed him a couple of different ways that he could just manage that to be a better process for him, which obviously just help. It's free, free information, free education, but takes a pain away for what he's trying to do. So yeah, just interesting that guys that even deal or have dealt in this space before are kind of unaware of what you can do and how it can benefit you and how it can then benefit your clients through your own business as a value add, which we're also very big on is how can we help you and your member base or your client base save money and manage risk when dealing internationally as well.
And as they both said, during their time in playing days, their focus was on playing. It wasn't about the management of their money. Now, whether or not they had trusted advisors sitting in behind that handled that for them, where they see the benefit for SportsFX is, as ex-athletes, in yourself, Chris, my background as well, they see that trusted entity that will actually work on behalf of the athlete to give them the information they need to help them make, whether it's them directly or whether it's their agent or trusted advisor, financial broker, whatever it well might be that supports them, to give them the right information, to give them a degree of comfort there that we're working on their behalf to get the best possible opportunity back for them.
Yeah, no, it was. It was, it was very interesting, very interesting. And as I said, a great couple of days. The feedback in regards to all the people we met was that they love what we're doing and how we're doing it and want to be a part of it, whether that's just from a sounding board point of view or a couple of introductions here or there. It was extremely positive, I found.
Yeah, totally agree. I couldn't have been happier with the way it went. Probably could have had a few less beers, but that's okay. It was a really good 3 days, and just probably crystallised what I already thought in my mind anyway about the road that we're on with SportsFX.
Yeah, no, excellent. Well, we will follow up with these people this week, keep having our meetings and touching base and building out the plans and the tentacles of reaching out to everyone in sport that deals internationally and get them on board as SportsFX clients.
100%, mate. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, excellent. We'll leave it there. I'll chuck this up on YouTube for people today so they can have a quick look at the markets. But as I said, it's overall been fairly flat. Give us a call and talk through your scenario if you've got an upcoming salary payment, prize money, or if it's a property inheritance, you're buying some shares, whatever it may be that you've got a cross-border payment, feel free to give us a call and we'll sort that out.
100%. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Speak to you.